We had a wild rumor that just turned into fact. Minnesota came a-calling for Khalil Herbert. Could you imagine the Chicago Bears being in the same division with David Montgomery and Khalil Herbert running roughshod over the NFL, knowing that those were two of our own guys that we brought into the fold and then let go in free agency? David Montgomery having another banner year. Khalil Herbert, we know the situation with him, but if you like this type of content, make sure you hit the like button on the way in. Let's talk about it. We got an article up just hot off the press. Let's kick it off. So the Minnesota Vikings, who are undefeated so far, came calling prior to the trade for Cam Akers. I'm led to believe the Vikings preferred Khalil Herbert of the Chicago Bears. It's 100% confirmed, not reckless speculation. The Vikings had dialogue with Chicago, absolutely had interest in Herbert, so it wasn't Cam Akers or bust. Now, clearly the Bears wouldn't do the parameter of the deal the Vikings worked out with Houston. My understanding is the Bears were looking for a little bit more, maybe like a 5th round pick. So the Bears believe that there's some value to Khalil Herbert, and we're not going to part with him without getting compensatory value. So that's a good thing, and it does mean that Khalil is still on the roster despite not being used. Now, the Bears' former 6th-round pick has been a rock-solid player since being drafted in 2021. He's a great fit for the outside zone running system the Vikings deploy under Kevin O'Connell. Herbert hasn't done much of anything this season, losing snaps to the newly arrived DeAndre Swift and ascending youngster Roschon Johnson. One would think the Bears would jump at the chance to get a draft pick of the kind for Herbert, who is a free agent next March. Demanding a 5th seems a little ignorant of the running back's actual value. A likely explanation is Ryan Poles wasn't wild about trading inside the division. So, Ryan Poles saving us the heartache. And guys, listen, I want Khalil Herbert to be successful. I want the guy to have a fantastic career, but I don't want him to run roughshod over us for the next 3 to 5 years in our own division. It makes no sense whatsoever. Look, it is hard enough to win in the NFL the way it is right now. Adding more fuel to a fire, that's a no-brainer. You don't do stuff like that. You know, don't trade somebody within your division. You made the mistake with David Montgomery. And every single game, David Montgomery is ready because he wants to prove the Bears made a mistake. And we already know, those of us who are fans of David Montgomery, we already know that was a mistake, and he is showing out and having another fantastic season, and that's not great. So to see that Ryan Poles pumped the brakes on Khalil Herbert coming into the NFC North is actually a pretty good sign. I like the fact that we did that. I like the fact that it happened, and I hope that Ryan Poles sees that as something that he's willing to constantly do. So potentially crisis avoided. Again, having our own running backs running roughshod over us for a few years. And by the way, that's no disrespect to the Bears defense. We got them. We got them. But we shouldn't have to, is the point. So this is a good thing. Happy to see this happen. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. And we'll be back with the next one very, very soon. Until then, bear down. And Green Bay, we don't like you. We don't like you. We don't like you. We don't like you, Minnesota. And we don't like you, Detroit. So, yeah, gross.